Hi guys. Well, first day of the year to run the sawmill. I cleaned it up a couple days ago. These verticals here, they get a little surface rust on them, so I cleaned those all up, lubed the chains all up and everything. The oil change was fresh towards the end of last year, so that's all good. This knotty pine log here was, as most of my logs are, given to me for free. We're going to use some knotty pine wood on some of the feature walls in the house. I've said that before, along with some other types of wood. So we're going to have several species, probably 4 to 5 different species intermixed on the wall in slats. And it's a neat look when it's all done. But anyway, we're going to get this one cut up. I was hoping to do it yesterday, but we ended up spending a lot more time working on pruning fruit trees yesterday than we planned on, which they still need a lot of work. But I'm going to get this cut up today. I might end up cutting another log up today. I also need some pine pieces to use in the loft upstairs in the house. We were splitting 2x4s. Take a 2x4 lengthwise and split it down the middle, and I was using that half of a 2x4 width minus a kerf to fur the dormers out. They made the dormer walls out of 2x4s instead of 2x6s, and I want 6-inch insulation in there instead of the 4-inch, so, or 3.5-inch or whatever. So we're going to fur those in a little bit, finish up our wiring up there, and then I can start insulating and drywalling the loft area upstairs. But for today, we're going to get this cut up, maybe another pine log. Then we'll see where we go from there. The grass is starting to get long. I haven't run that zero turn in there in probably 3 years or more, maybe 4, probably 4 years. I've just been using my brush hog because I've been too busy to actually mow my brush hog and a little walk behind mower. But it'd be nice to get the zero turn back out. So that's the game plan for today. Let's get this thing cut up. Oh, hey, while I'm thinking about it, why don't you right here at the beginning, if you would, give us a thumbs up on it. And if you think of it, leave us a comment. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. We're hoping that eventually this channel will get big enough to where they'll start paying us a little bit of money and we can invest it back into the house. That's the game plan. Right now, we're not there yet. So, but you could help us. Tell your friends about us. Maybe they'll check us out and they might like to subscribe too. So, appreciate that. Thanks. Hang in there with us and we'll get started. Just checking out the blade lubrication system. It's got a little dripper on each side. This big main beam right here is a hollow tube, and that cap up there on top is to pour diesel fuel in there. So it does run diesel fuel for a lubricant because it has machine steel wheels. There's no rubber tire on them, so we don't need to worry about the diesel fuel hurting the rubber on the tires or anything. It's a machine steel wheel, and that wheel, the surface the blade runs on, is crowned a little bit, so it keeps the blade centered on there good. It's a really nice thing that Cook Saw Manufacturing does. They're very well educated. They've been in the business for 2 or 3 generations now, and they build a nice saw. It doesn't have quite as nice of electronics on it as Wood-Mizer does. I like the Wood-Mizer computer system, but this thing is rock solid. It's basically the sturdiest sawmill that I looked at. I was in metalwork my whole life before I retired, and I know metal, and this thing is solid. That's why I bought it. Okay, I think I'll go ahead and get the tractor out. Instead of just piling these slats on the ground, I think I'll get the tractor out and come over here with the forks on it. And I can just put the slats right on the forks, carry them over to the burn pile. unless I can find something creative to make out of them. That's always fun. By the way, I don't think I mentioned it, but this log is a little over 7.5 feet long and is 16-inch diameter at the big end. And like I said, it's got that crotch at the small end. See if we can get this thing rolled over all right. If I can't roll it over by hand, we'll use machinery. Looks a little heavy. There we go. Now I'm gonna have to get that over a little bit. It's got these knobs that are sticking out too far this way, so I'm gonna have to scooch that over, put this 3x4 or whatever it is back in there, keep it away from the edge a little bit. Mercy. Let's try that. It's still not going to go with that one right there. Got to go a little more. Got a knob right down here, hangs out quite a ways. I'll have to avoid that. There. Now, let's get that down where it won't interfere with anything. Okay, there. That should work. Okay, what'd you guys do with my tape measure, huh? Oh, you left it on my tractor seat. No, I got it. Okay, right now, the top is about 14 inches. I'll come down to about 12 and a half. Yeah, we'll come down to about 12.5 inches. What's that going to do to us down here? Let's see here. 12.5. That should be pretty darn good. 12.5 it is. Uh-oh. Earplug's down in too far. Might have to push it through the other side. Favorite thing about running a sawmill is finding the treasures inside. Yeah, it'll make some pretty boards. Let's see what happens when we get down a little bit deeper, though. Yeah, it's going to get prettier and prettier. Try that again. What I'm doing is I'm sawing these at 3/4 of an inch on the normal 1-inch scale, which does not compensate for kerf. So I'm going to end up with about 7/8 of an inch thick on all of them. Now I'll run them through the planer, thin them down just a little bit, and those will work nice for those slats on the wall. I'll end up being, yeah, probably a little over 5/8 of an inch thick, something like that, when I'm all done planing them. It'll work out nice. Yeah, that's where that crotch, see that crotch figure starting to come in there? That's some pretty stuff. All the knots and everything. Get that all planed off. That'll make for some pretty walls, especially when you consider this is going to be just one of the types of wood in there. And I've got a little bit of walnut, not much. I have a lot of cherry, some hickory, some maple, red oak and white oak. I've got lots of different types of wood. And I'm just going to make a bunch of slats and put them all in. I'll probably even vary the width on them a little bit. I might do some of each type in maybe a 5-inch tall, some in maybe 4 or 3.5, something like that. Just, it's kind of cool. It's starting to get a little bit of the blue stain along the edges. Places that make siding and stuff out of pine, like tongue and groove stuff put up on your ceilings, they charge extra if you want the bluing on there. What it is, it's just starting to get a little bit older. Starts to get that little bit of a blue stain in there. But then there's a fine line between old enough to have some blue stain and too old makes it start getting a little bit of rot. This is just starting to get a little bit of the blue stain, which makes it really pretty to use. And it's not starting even close to rot yet. So, oh, come on, get off of there. Okay, guess we'll get this one off of here. And I don't know if I'm going to keep cutting on this side of the log or if I'm going to flip it over a little more. We shall see. Oh, that's heavy to hold on to with one hand. Oh, yeah. A little more bluing that next layer down. I'll have to put you guys back on. I'm taking too much time here. This is the part I enjoy the most, though. I have to put you guys back on, what do you call it? Not rabbit mode, but hyper. I think on camera it's called hyperlapse, I think. I have to put you on there so it won't take up so much of your time watching the video. I'll slow you down for the good parts. Yeah, that's going to be so pretty. Didn't quite get into the crotch over here yet, but there's still a lot of figure going on. A little bit of bark inclusion there, right here. Like I said, I feel like a kid on Christmas Day when I open these logs up. Won't that make some pretty wall panels? I might even have to put a wider panel in here and there just so I can show off more of the grain. I had it pictured with a bunch of narrower slats, 5 inches on down, but boy, it'd be nice to have one that's, 10 or 12 inches wide somewhere. Because I wouldn't have to continue that width all the way across. If it was a long wall, I could put a piece in there that was 12 inches wide and put 2 6s next to it. Okay, guys, I've got 5 more slices off here. I'm down to about 6.5 inches tall here. Normally, I would have trimmed both sides some, not got it down quite that narrow, and then flipped it up on in and got wider boards that were flat on both sides. But because of the fact there's a crotch in that end, I wanted to have a few extra slices with that crotch figure in them rather than to save me wider pieces in the center. When you flip it up, you've got that center block that's flat on both sides. You can cut boards and split them down the middle or split them a little off center. Get 2 different. 6.5 will work for me. I know I'll be able to use some 6.5 wide, or I can trim them around to 6 or 5 or whatever. Or I could even do some 3.5 and 3s, or some 2.5s and 4s or whatever. But it'll get me a few more of these slices here that have that nice crotch figure in the end of it. I'm going to scrape some of these off and we'll show you some of the crotch figure down in there farther. Yeah, like I said, I feel like a kid in a candy store cutting this stuff first time since last year. It's like a present every time. Yeah, let me get back and clean these things off. I could stand there and admire this stuff all day. Oh, that's what I guess I already showed you, but isn't that cool the way that comes out there? What I was saying when I was showing it to you before on hyperlapse is this piece with this up here. all these up here. It'd be a pretty cool piece to just put a sign on. Maybe put your name on there, or welcome to the lake, or anything like that. You know, just it'd be cool. Starting to get some really cool bark inclusions around there where there was bark around the edge of the branch and stuff. Right here. And you still got the crotch figure going on in there. Pretty cool stuff. You know, guys, there's another reason I like showing this stuff to you guys. All this pretty knots and bark inclusions and that crotch figure here and everything. And that's because when Judy is editing this, she gets to see all these and gets a little preview on them. And sometimes she'll have some input quite often on, I know where we could use that, or gee, that would look really good in this place or that place. Or so kind of gives her some of the thrill of it being down here too, which sometimes she is down here, but more often than not, she's working on editing or baking cupcakes or other stuff like that. Yesterday, we were both out together pruning fruit trees, worked our butts off. But yeah, it's just the way it is. We enjoy doing stuff together. Always have. Just like that. I will get some 6.5 inch wide boards. I ran out of gas. I got a little bit left in a can. I've got 2 empty 5-gallon cans in the back of the truck, but I have to go get some non-ethanol gas to run in this thing. And I don't know if I put that little bit that's left in here, I might be able to finish up this log. It'll be close. This thing does kick out the sawdust, though. Mercy. Okay, let's get this new blade on there. Like that. That's pretty close. Yeah. Okay, we'll snug it up a little bit. Yeah, leave that off there just for a minute so I can make sure it's tracking good. Looking good. That's a pretty healthy motor on this thing. It even sounds beefy. 38 horsepower, fuel injected, twin cylinder. Sure would push a go-kart good. About 8. So we want to go down to 7 1/4. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to probably call this the end of this video. I'll go ahead and get this stuff sticker stacked. And actually, I'm probably going to stop by Home Depot or somewhere and pick up some pre-milled boards I use for stickers. Sometimes they're like they're about 3/4 of an inch by 1.5 inches. They call them 1x2s, and they're not real good ones. They're just the cheap ones. You can get the good ones that you can use like for trim. These are not, and they're a lot cheaper to buy, and they work fine for stickers. And they're, kiln dried, so you don't have to worry about stain marks where they're at as much as if you use the green wood for stickers. then you got wet wood and wet wood together, and you tend to get mold and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm done for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and hang in there with us. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please share it with your friends, and have a blessed day. Bye.